Yawn. Knees stretched as she woke up, bright and early. She used her vectors to take off her covers, before then using them to lift herself out of bed and onto her feet. She stretched a bit, waking herself up completely. Okay, time for breakfast. So, did you see Astral Formers 2 last night? Buku asked as she and Niece ate their breakfast together in the cafeteria. Yeah, the plot was kinda lame, but the animation was just beautiful. Niece said, thoroughly enjoying today's meal of French toast and sausage. Right? You could feel the love in each frame, the passion, the talent. You know, Ken's animations always look good, but it doesn't feel as good as animation like this. Fuku noted, well, Ken doesn't really have that much passion in what he does. He just likes money. He's not an artist. Niece pointed out, I'm not sure I'd go that far. Fuku said sheepishly. Kind of feels a little gatekeepy. Maybe. I'm right though. Niece asserted. XXXXXXXXXXXXXXX. Alright kids, can anyone tell me what the answer is? Kyoshi asked his class. Niece raised her hand. 28. Incorrect. Kyoshi said. You forgot to carry the 2. Niece looked down at her notebook and realized her mistake, her face turning bright red as she realized she just embarrassed herself in front of the whole class. Sorry. It's fine, remember, making mistakes is part of learning. Kyoshi reminded them, dashing over to Niece in a flash and patting her on the head. I'm just glad you worked up the courage to try. Niece felt a sense of reassurance and looked around to see if anyone was judging her, only to find little to no judgment. Kyoshi dashed back in front of the desk. Alright, would anyone else like to try? XXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXX. Alright, now just move your arms like I showed you, Izuku instructed. He and Niece were in the pool, Izuku holding her up as they continued their bi-weekly swimming lessons. Like this, Niece said as she swam forward a little. Yeah, like that, perfect. Izuku praised me. Good job. Niece smiled, feeling the warmth of Izuku's praise course through her, and she started taking more confident strokes. Good. Alright, I think after today I won't have anything left to teach you, Izuku said. Aww. Niece pouted. She always enjoyed spending this time with Izuku. It just felt nice having a caring, loving father. Like an itch had finally been scratched. Oh, it's okay. I still have lots I can teach you if you're interested, Izuku said while bringing her into his embrace. Niece nodded, before leaning into his embrace. I love having a good family. XXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXX. Did I do a good job? Sheena asked as she set down her nail brush. Yeah, it looked great, Niece said as she admired her newly painted red toenails. Kuki inspected his toenails closely. Yeah, they pass. Show me how to do the fingernails next. Excellent work, Sheena. Kiba praised. It's so nice to spend time with the girls. And my brother. Ko typed. Is that supposed to mean something? Kuki asked, sending his sister a mean look. Ko just smiled and patted Kuki on the head. Don't get paint all over the wig. Sheena and Kuki shouted at the same time. Niece couldn't help but giggle at the cute antics in front of her. XXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXX. Alright, my loyal minions. Welcome to today's broadcast, Kiba said into her camera. She and Niece sat together in her room, controllers in their hands. Today we're going to play Tarnished Spirits 2. And as you can see, we have Niece from Niece and Easy Over as a guest once again. Hey guys. Niece greeted peppily, having gotten used to introducing herself on camera by now. Niece and Kira stream. Let's go. Man, these two stream together a lot. Makes me wonder why she has her own channel. 'Cause she feels like it. How many controllers do you think Kiba will break this time? You think Knees will smash the TV again? Now enough talk. Let's get to playing. Kiba said. Knees took a deep breath. This time, she was determined not to get upset and break anything. Okay, let us begin, Giza said as he and Knees stood on opposite sides of the training room. Right. Knees steeled herself, getting her vectors ready. Giza nodded before dashing right at her. As soon as Giza entered her range, Knees sent out her vectors, sending two that came from the left and right, and behind those one that came from above, and behind that, one that came from below. Giza ducked under the two vectors, rushing past the overhead vector as it tried to slam into him, and kicked the vector that tried to grab his foot aside. Knees tried to move her vectors back at Giza to grab him from behind, but Giza had reached her just before her vectors could touch her. Done, Giza said as he flicked Knees' forehead. Knees pouted. How can you tell where they are? They may be invisible, but they still make a sound as they move through the air. Most won't notice, but some will. You make your vectors tangible far too early, and you hesitate too much with your attacks. Your vectors can move faster than me. Use that to keep the area covered. It makes it harder for an enemy to approach. Giza said. Yes, sir. Knees sighed, a feeling of frustration at her own flaws growing inside of her. Giza patted her on the head. Don't be ashamed. We all have to learn at some point. Even I had to learn the basics of combat at some point, even with my quirk. Improvement will come with time and effort. Knees smiled a bit. Thank you, sir. All the members of Liberation had gathered in the band room once again for another jam session. They weren't playing any song in particular, they were just doing an exercise to make sure they could stay in perfect harmony without anyone missing a beat. Knees was slamming the drums, as usual. The beat the band created was almost hypnotic, in a real good way. And the sense of pride Knees felt to be a part of that rhythm could not be understated. Of course, that would only make it sting more if SHE was the one who messed it up and made them start over. Which is why, despite the relaxing beat, Knees stayed focused, making sure she got everything right. She didn't get too tense. She'd made that mistake before, and it caused her to hesitate and slip up more ironically. She carried some confidence in her skills and let her practice guide her. All right, I think that's enough for now, Sheena called, causing everyone to stop. Phew. Fuku let out a sigh of relief. Ko patted her on the back and hit the girls with a big smile and thumbs up. Knees smiled down at her drumsticks, a feeling of relief and fulfillment at not having dropped the ball a single time. Great job, girls. Sheena cheered. Let's go get dinner. Sheena held up a hand, and the girls shared a four-way high five. Izuku finally laid down to go to bed, getting comfy in his sheets and laying his head on his pillow, ready to close his eyes. And like clockwork, the door to his bedroom opened. This was not a rare occurrence, either because he suddenly had more work to do, or because one of the kids wanted to sleep together. Thankfully, it seemed to be the latter this time. With Knees walking in, with her eyes closed, and fake snores coming out of her mouth, she stumbled towards Izuku's bed and crawled in next to him, clinging to his side. Izuku smiled a bit before laying back down. Gunetkia. Hira's eyes opened, and she scowled at him. How did you know? Your movements always set you apart. It makes it pretty easy to tell who's in control. Izuku explained as he gently rubbed Kira's head. I don't get you. You're smart, but you're so nice to me. Kira said, not moving away from Izuku at all. I believe I've told you. I trust that you're not trying to kill me anymore, and I don't hold your past against you. A child deserves to be loved and cared for. End of sentence. Izuka told her. Or do you just like hearing that over and over? Kira stayed silent. You can still see and feel things when Nise is in control, right? Izuka asked, although he was already pretty sure of the answer. I won't press about that now, but we will talk about it later. Izuka looked down at Kira and found that she was fast asleep. Really asleep this time. Likely because she switched to Nise. Good night, you two, Izuka said before falling asleep himself.